Hey yo, before we even start this joint, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. You know it's gonna be top notch, boss game.
Welcome back to another episode of the Book of Alpha-Ronomy, where we embrace all of the principles of manhood and masculinity so that men around the world can finally re-grasp their alpha energy. Let's do that now.
What's going on, my alpha brethren? This topic is brought to you by a donation from the homie George Tierwell III. Appreciate the donation, homie. Appreciate the support. GT3 wants to know, how do you flip a situation in your favor and gain complete control when you're talking to a woman and her emotions get involved? And basically, how do you completely disregard her emotions and gain full control? Now, it's a pretty interesting question, but the answer is quite simple. And there is more than one part to this answer. The first thing is, you have to get your mind to the point where you're not concerned with her emotions. You have to become immune to her emotions. Because if you don't, every time you get into a discussion with her and it gets to a point where her emotions become involved, her emotions will manipulate you, whether she does it intentionally or not. You see, there is a woman who will manipulate you intentionally with her emotions. But even if a woman does not manipulate you intentionally with her emotions themselves will cause you to manipulate yourself based on trying to get a particular emotional response from her. All of this goes back to my number one rule of being alpha. You have to make yourself emotionally unavailable. Now, is it a lot tougher to do when you're in a relationship, especially when you're in a cohabitation situation? Yes, it is. Because her emotional state affects your life every day in some way, whether small or large. So the number one thing is to completely avoid the need to flip a situation because her emotions are involved. Another thing is this. What you have to do, the main thing you have to do is, even if you have not mastered the art of emotional unavailability, you cannot allow her emotion to pull you into your emotional space. Because then you can't gain control of a situation when you're both in an emotional space, because she will run circles around you emotionally. Never think that you're strong enough to battle emotionally with a woman. You are a rookie and she is a Hall of Famer when it comes to emotions. I don't care who you are. Even myself, the Alpha Dun Dada, I will not go into emotional battle with a woman. I know 3 undefeated fighters. I know Floyd Mayweather's undefeated in the ring. The Wall is undefeated with women. And my emotional battle record is 0-0. I don't care if I ain't got no wins, I ain't got no losses. And I'm not going into emotional battle with a woman because I don't need my record to become 0-1. So I am telling you, you have to make sure that you stay in a logical headspace. As long as you stay in a logical headspace, nothing about her emotion is going to pull you off key. It's going to knock you off kilter. Another thing is, when she's in such an emotional space that you can't even get through to her, stop talking. And when a woman is in that space, talking to her is like talking to a wall. You're talking to a brick wall, man. And at that point, you leave it alone, because what you're going to do if you keep trying to talk to her in that emotional space where she's put up this wall to ward off anything you're saying, you're going to find yourself frustrated. And your frustration can quickly turn into anger. That's what men don't understand. That's why I say you have to avoid stressful situations with women, because if you're in a stressful situation with her, that stress there's a thin line between a woman stressing you out and a woman pissing you off. Thin line. So to avoid crossing that line into being PO'd, you stay out of that stress range. You see, this is the thing. If you haven't established a respect pattern with your woman, You don't have to worry about taking control. You ain't gonna be able to get control. You being able to control a situation is based on her level of respect for you. Even if she doesn't agree, there comes a point where she knows, okay, if I go any further, I'm going to cross the line into disrespect. You have to make sure that your woman doesn't cross that line into disrespect. She'd rather bite her tongue. She'd rather keep it in. She'd rather go somewhere, take a ride and call her friend or call her sister and vent about it rather than disrespect you. If you haven't crossed that line already, then you're not going to ever be able to gain control of a situation, not just a situation where her feelings are involved, but any situation. This is about respect. A woman who respects you will not even allow her emotion to push her into that range. She will know that she just doesn't want to cross that line because she knows what bag is going to make you come out of. See, this is the thing. In order to need to flip a situation and gain complete control, it means that you do not have control. Now, I've seen men gain control or regain control. These were men who, they were, for all intents and purposes, they were real men, and they just found themselves getting caught up with this one woman at one particular time. But I saw them change it and work their way out of it. But what they had to do is reestablish the patterns, the baseline patterns that cause a woman to keep herself in line. I say all the time, you got to keep your woman in line. You got to keep her in line. That doesn't mean you have to keep her in mind forcefully. That means you have to control her mind in a way that makes her keep herself in line. Now, I know this may be a little bit complicated, man, for those who are just taking the red pills, because this is not red pill information, man. This is top-notch, experienced alpha game right here, man. You know what I'm saying? This is alpha information right here. But the 3 baseline things you must do to sum up the homie's question. Again, shout out to the homie George Tidwell. You have to not allow yourself to become emotional because she's emotional. You have to always stay in logic, always stay in a logical headspace. You have to know when it's time to end that conversation. Now, I'm not saying the conversation can't be picked up later, but you have to know when it's time to end a conversation. You can't continue to speak logically to someone who has warded off their perception, their acceptance, their reception of logic. You have to kill that conversation. And the third thing is you have to already have established the baseline expectations for your woman. You ain't gonna gain control if she ain't got no baseline expectations already established. If she doesn't understand the things you expect from her already, if she feels like it's okay to disrespect you, if she feels like it's okay to become combative with you and get into this big hoopla with you, I don't even know how you could be in a situation with a woman who feels like it's okay to be combative with you. And the last and final thing, the bonus thing that you can do is if you're in a situation like this and you can't reestablish the baseline expectations, you got to end the situation. You understand what I'm saying? These situations aren't worth fighting for. There is no situation you in with a woman where she's disrespectful and disagreeable and combative and adversarial all the time. That situation ain't worth saving. I don't care what it is. It's the same thing with Pippin. A whole bunch of cats coming in saying, well, I understand why Pippin took her back. I don't. You understand because you're a sucker. All of this is based on expectations that you should have from your woman. And at the very least, you better be prepared to leave her ass before you take any of this type of situations right here. When this happens, you got to be ready to leave, man. And I ain't talking about threatening to leave. I'm talking about put the wheels in motion. Just bounce. Get ready to move on, homie. And especially, listen, if you don't even cohabitate with the woman, I don't even understand why you would even be considering this, man. Y'all, you got to do is put her on ice. Put on ice. Put on ice for however long it take. So if I had to say one thing that you should do in this scenario, that one thing would be to put her on ice. Put her on ice. Any situation she's in control of, you can't just simply flip it with words. Women don't give up control that easily. You understand what I'm saying? If she's in control of a situation, you can't take control from her. You've got to put her in a headspace to give you control, to fall back and accept the fact that you're in control. And the only way to do that in this scenario, man, you got to put on ice. You got to put on ice and give her opportunity to weigh her options. Now, is putting her on ice going to guarantee that y'all going to be together? No, it's going to guarantee that you're going to take control of the situation. Taking control of the situation doesn't necessarily mean staying in it. Taking control of the situation means that you're not out of control. That means that you take control of your life. The situation, think about it this way. Every situation you're in is your life. It doesn't matter what woman is in your life, she's in your life. You're not in her life. So you have to take control of your life. And any facet of your life that you're not controlling, you need to do everything in your power to gain control of it. And if that means your relationship, and you find out through a conversation where she is in control and she is in her emotions and you are being emotionally beat down by her, you better gain control of your life. And the only way to do that at that point is to put her on ice. Put her on ice, set boundaries. If you can't set boundaries while you're present, while she's present in your life, then you set boundaries after you put on ice. And then the only way that she can return, if you allow her to return, is if she's willing to accept those boundaries, those rules and regulations, those conditions. Y'all comment down below, man, to let me know if there's anything else you can add to this. Once again, shout out to the homie George Tiswell III. I'm really interested in seeing what you guys have to say in the comments, man, about this particular topic, man. Like this video on your way out if you enjoyed the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. When you subscribe, click that notification bell. Make sure your notifications are on so you can be alerted to when I upload some more of this real shit. And as always, Alpha's up, Beta's down. Peace.